can't get to your question, then we will email you directly with some answers and take it from there. So also wanted to make sure that a lot of you know that there's still one more day out there to submit answers to the THWAC mission. So for those of you who are participating on the THWAC mission on our community forum, which is called THWAC, you still have another day to answer questions and be enrolled to win the grand prize. And for all of you who stayed till the end, we will choose at random one person who made it all the way through the webinar and give away $100 American Express gift card. And if this is your second, third, or fourth webinar, you could actually win a Roomba. So without further ado, we'll take it away here. We'll let Ryan take it away and get into the webcast.
All right. I'll make sure the slide deck's working. Okay, good. So first, let's talk a little bit about ticket management in general. So first of all, the what. You know, it's a system to streamline, centralize, and manage all your IT help desk tickets. Basically, it's a set of policies. Without those policies, you can't really adhere to them, and if you're not adhering to them, you might as well not have them. So, you know, really having that framework in place and the tools necessary in which to do so, you know, really getting that, the meat and potatoes of support to be as streamlined as possible. So why is pretty obvious for most people. It's better case management, because when you have better case management, you have customers that are more satisfied. You also have technicians who are more satisfied, and you generally get better productivity from both the end user and the technician whenever you have, people know what they're supposed to do. You know, when there's a policy in place, they know how to follow it, and you know, your end user knows what quality of service they're going to get out of it whenever they do sign up for a ticket.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, all of these metrics that you're talking about here are really sort of intertwined, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you've got higher customer satisfaction or higher end user satisfaction, typically it's going to lead to them being a little more productive because they're not going to be down all the time, right, trying to deal with a broken computer or application or something along those lines. And similarly, you know, if you've got these sort of policies in place and you're using the right kind of help desk system, you're going to find that your technicians are also a lot more productive as well.
And also the benefit you have, you know, having those customers who are happy is, you know, the technician never wants to be the one who's getting yelled at, you know. So if they're not yelling as much, you know, your technicians are going to be happier. They're going to, you know, want to come to work rather than having to come to work. So, you know, definitely something that you want to strive for is, you know, overall customer satisfaction and overall, you know, high morale on your support floor. So what are some best practices of efficient ticket management? Well, again, policies. If you don't have a policy, you need to make one, because otherwise it's the Wild West and everyone kind of does their own thing, and you don't get the same continuity and quality in service across the entire, business sector that you would if you had these policies in place. And you know, a lot of times they start small and then they end up being built on over time when you realize when something goes wrong or when you realize there's a way to improve something, you know, you add those policies and you broadcast the policies out. And this isn't policies for policy's sake, which, you know, help desks do have a tendency to, you know, kind of do design by committee, and you end up with a bunch of policies that are just there and it's bureaucratic and nobody likes that. And, you know, people are just going through the route because they have to. Listen to your technicians. You know, they're the ones who are on the front lines. They know what works and what doesn't work. If you set a policy and you're getting a lot of feedback that, you know, this isn't working for us, you know, figure out why, figure out if there's a better way to do it, you know, keep your ear to the ground and kind of listen to that.
Well, and having these policies in place and really sticking to them, it also makes things a lot more measurable, mm-hmm. right? Yes. If you don't have policies in place, you really just aren't measuring anything at all. Yeah. You know, again, if you don't have, even let's say, for example, you don't have a help desk ticketing system, you have no idea either, one, how satisfied your customers are, sure, to how quickly you're actually resolving issues and which of your technicians are productive and which aren't.
Yeah, and that's really the thing. And then again, sticking to them. I mean, and this is not sticking to them because they exist. It's sticking to them because they exist and you need them to accomplish something. So again, be adaptive, but, you know, try to be, you know, you don't want them set in stone, but you also don't want them constantly shifting. You want them shifting when necessary and set when necessary. So you have the best of both worlds. Okay, automation is another, you know, key thing. If, you know, if it's less human hands have to touch it, it just happens. You know, you can do this with a lot of the busy work, right? So, you know, transferring cases. So it shouldn't have to be where somebody has to go contact somebody else and go, oh, I'm transferring you this case. It should be an automated thing where it can move from one queue to another. You can just kind of hand off that case. And obviously, you want the notes in there so people can just pick up where the last person left off. Other things like escalations, things of that nature, approval processes where you can have an approval board, you know, where the email goes out to everyone on the approval board. You need X% to actually get it approved for change management, things of that nature, instead of having to, you know, go ask everybody, hey, do I have permission on this? And you can also have, you know, that chain of command and that chain of custody where you can see who approved what, when they approved it, and so on.
But yeah, I think those are really good points, you know, especially the idea of you know, automatic escalations built on SLAs, you know, and making sure that you're managing those SLAs in the right way. So like, for example, if you've got an SLA in place that says we will attempt to work on your problem within 24 hours and you see that it hasn't been worked on, you can set up you know, specific rules in your help desk system that will immediately escalate that to somebody.
Right, or auto assign it. If it's just been languishing out in the queue, no one's taken it, you can do like a round robin style,
Sure.
or whoever is not, you know, doesn't have the most tickets, whoever's the least amount of tickets, so they obviously can take more workload maybe, you can auto assign it.
Well, in specific types of tickets too. So, for example, it doesn't make a lot of sense to route a Linux ticket, to a Windows guy, right? And so, you know, having these sorts of policies in place and having this sort of automation in place can really make things move a lot faster.
Yeah, ticket association. This is basically what you were touching on. You know, having the tickets, you know, associated with the proper, you know, issue and with the proper, you know, person to, you know, have it assigned to. If you have a, you know, Linux group and they do Linux, you know, assigning them a Windows ticket, you know, may not be to your advantage. I mean, there may be some people in there that have Windows experience and can get their way through it. There may be some people who are really good at Windows, but you didn't hire them for that if you put them in the Linux queue.
Right. Why have somebody struggle on something for a long time that's just going to end up with a dissatisfied end user or customer?
Well, and a frustrated technician at the end.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Again, having the right tools in the right place. We've been saying a lot, you know, in your help desk ticket system, and we know, you know, 15% of you don't have a help desk ticket system. You know, you're doing it via email. You know, are there ways to do it, you know, via email and spreadsheets with a lot of human interaction? Yeah. You're not going to get that automation, obviously.
Right. Or the ability to measure.
Yeah, I mean, you can you can do some things with you know, crystal reports and things on your spreadsheet,
Sure.
but it's not going to get you the same amount of information. I mean, you can't tell really exactly when the case opened, exactly when the first touch was, exactly when it was resolved, and you know, your customer satisfaction in Excel. It's just not there.
Well, and for those tools that have the ability to integrate with a remote support solution, I would say that even makes it even a little bit more important, right? I mean, this allows you to sort of kick off a remote support session directly from a help desk ticket or from an asset within your help desk ticketing system.
Right. Knowledge exchange, or also more commonly known as knowledge base. You know, the ability to take what someone's already resolved and broadcast that to, you know, the greater whole on the you know, your support floor, or your help desk, or just even to the end user. If there's a common issue, say, you know, we have these certain brand laptops here at work, and they commonly have issues with, you know, wireless. And, you know, the resolution, honestly, is just you flip the wireless into airplane mode, and then you flip it back out, and magically, wireless comes back. Is there probably a driver update or something, hopefully, coming down the road that will eventually fix that? Yes. But is, you know, the solution right now that flipping of the switch, and can that, you know, stifle a bunch of tickets at the front door,
right,
where you're not, there's this, deluge of tickets with all the same issue?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a really important point. I mean, this is really about letting end users, helping end users to help themselves. Yeah. One of the things that's going to lead to dissatisfaction on the help desk faster than anything else is having technicians do these really repetitive tasks, the same things over and over and over again, especially if it's something that's fairly simple to fix. Like, for example, one of the things that we see here are often requests for, like, how do I get wireless set up on my iPhone or my Android device, or how do I get email to my
VPN.
Or how do I set a VPN, these kinds of things. Now, you can set these things up in certain help desk ticket systems where, in the client interface, where they'll go in and start to, log a question. It will show them a set of frequently asked questions, and hopefully it'll be one of the ones that they can that will allow them to sort of help themselves and cut down on some of this clutter that Ryan talked about.
And self-service portals are the way all business is going. I mean, you call your bank now,
that's right,
and it's the automated phone menu trying to get you to your info without ever having to talk to somebody. Because to be honest, it's all about the bottom line. If you have the customer help themselves, it's costing you a lot less.
That's right.
And because it's a broadcast solution, it's a one-to-many instead of one-to-one.
Well, and similarly, the sort of internal knowledge base for the technicians is also especially helpful, right? I mean, you're constantly onboarding new people and help desk type scenarios, and it's really helpful for them to just be able to go in, look at a knowledge base, and say, oh, okay, someone has already logged this type of problem before, and this is how you fix it.
Yeah, and there's mentoring where someone can sit with somebody, but again, that's a one-to-one. You're not going to be able to take that knowledge and broadcast it to everybody unless you have some sort of Confluence page or something of that nature. And again, that's usually pretty closed, and people actually have to go to it. Whereas if it's part of your help desk solution, it's all in one place. It's right at your fingertips.
That's right.
And applying end-user feedback. First of all, you have to get end-user feedback. If you don't get end-user feedback, you can never apply this end-user feedback.
Well, I think you have to get it in a really measured manner, too, right? I mean, it's one thing to have someone come to your desk and scream at you about how terrible a technician is, but it's another thing to be able to provide them with a set, sort of guide them through a set of questions to really find out where the system may have broken down.
And really, that's what management and management's management really wants, is something that you can put a number on.
That's right.
Right? I mean, in help desk and in support desks, it's all about KPIs, key performance indicators, metrics, things of that nature. How much is little Johnny technician doing versus little Jane technician? And you always have to take that in a holistic approach, right? The number of cases closed is not necessarily that. Maybe that's a better technician for you.
That's right.
I mean, it really depends on what type of customer you're servicing as to what KPIs are really important to you.
That's right.
But yeah, definitely gaining that information from the customer, what their satisfaction level is, what they would see could be improved, what they would like changed, and then, going from there and being able to apply that is definitely something. Okay. So let's go ahead and throw up a poll here. Let's see. All right, and we will launch this poll.
All right, so here is another fun poll for everyone to participate in, just to get an idea of how many of you are using remote support solutions and what kind of remote support solutions you're using to assist your end users remotely.
And we'll let this get to a certain percentage of y'all voting. We don't want to, obviously, after you vote, having you sit and stare at a screen. It's not
so fun.
Yeah, not exactly fun. We all stare at screens all day, so. All right, getting up to that level where we can pretty much call it, and
like,
we'll go ahead and call it.
Let's call it there. So it looks like about 30% of you are using a free tool like RDP or VNC, and about 27% of you are using some sort of licensed on-premise tool. 15% of you are using a licensed cloud-based tool. And then 20% of you are actually using Daneware, which we'll talk a little bit about here in just a moment. And then 9% of you are not using anything at all. You poor people. You're having to walk over to people's desks and drive across town and things like that. Interesting stuff there. So let's jump in just to kind of show a demo of what Web Help Desk looks like. We've got a couple of new features, or a new feature that's come out recently that we'll be covering in a little bit of detail, but. Let's do a demo of the help desk solution that we have here and kind of tie this back to the best practices.
Sure. What we're looking at right now is a technician view of assigned tickets that are assigned to this technician, and in this case, the technician is Joe Admin. So what we have here is, quite simply, you have your ticket number, your request details. You can escalate or de-escalate the case straight from the ticket. You can also have this automated. Where, again, after a certain amount of time or a certain condition is met, it'll automatically escalate. You can actually schedule the priority and, when you're supposed to respond back to them. So, the customer's never left waiting on you because that's usually where you get, static. If a customer is left waiting on your technician for, say, a 24-hour period, In some places is what the metric is, or the SLA. Yeah, I mean, if I was waiting for my VPN to be set up and 24 hours later I still don't have a VPN set up because no one's responded to me,
I'd be angry.
I'm going to be pretty mad. If my email's not working and 24 hours later my email's still not working,
Very angry.
I'm going to be very angry. Especially if I have CIO, CEO, CFO after my name.
Right.
So definitely want to have SLAs in place, things of that nature. And the other thing this allows you to do is assign assets to the ticket itself. This particular ticket doesn't have an asset assigned to it. But the benefit of Web Help Desk as a help desk product is it's also an IT asset management product.
That's right.
So we'll go here to the assets and just do a quick search, and we'll see a bunch of assets come here once it queries the database. And all these assets can be added manually. Obviously, that would take quite some time in a larger environment. Even in a smaller environment, that can take quite some time. So the benefit Web Help Desk has is it has the ability to do asset discovery. So if you go to assets and you go to discovery connections, you can actually import this data in a few different ways. The asset scan, which goes via WMI, uses your credentials, scans an IP class that you put in there, range, just starting and ending IP, and it will go and pull back all the information such as installed software, vendor, model number, IP address, things like that, into the system. Let me go ahead and leave this one right here. Should already be set up. Yeah. So again, you can see we have a starting and ending IP address, the domain credentials put in here. We have it scheduled to. You can have it scheduled. It's not currently scheduled. I can edit that. And you can schedule it to happen, every day at midnight. You can have it happen, every Sunday at 2 a.m. And you can also have it sync, which then looks at what you have existing versus what it's found new and makes the adjusted changes to that. So yeah, that's one of the means is WMI scan. Now also, if you have any of some of the SolarWinds other products such as Server and Application Monitor, Network Performance Monitor, or Network Configuration Manager, you can actually import the assets you already have in those tools from their database into the Web Help Desk database. You can also, if you have a large Mac environment, you can use Casper or Casper 9. You can also do LandRav and even SMS CCM from Microsoft. So you can pull those assets directly in. Now, if you're old school and you have a spreadsheet, you can import assets via a spreadsheet as well. You can also do the same thing if you have a bunch of old tickets that you're moving from one to another. If you already have frequently asked questions or knowledge-based articles, you can import those as well. So yeah, I mean, it's fairly robust in that nature. So the benefit, having the asset there and being able to tie the asset to the ticket is you can also do things like find your trouble asset. So if there's an asset that's always starting, has a customer starting cases, let me go back. You can find your trouble asset and or trouble user.
Right.
If there's a user that's constantly starting tickets for, fluff, let's say, that's just, they don't know how to use something that maybe is more of an education thing that needs to happen, you can find that and you can actually get that person more education. Or if you see you have an asset that constantly is having problems, the hard drive went out, the memory had to be swapped, the battery is bad, they needed a new, maybe it's time to retire that asset or at least do some warranty contact to the vendor.
That's right.
So let's go ahead and jump into a remote session here directly from your asset inventory. So let's go to this PowerEdge 1950. You'll see this icon right here, which will automatically launch a Dameware session. This again is if you have Dameware installed locally. So again, Web Help Desk is based on the web. So
web console.
Yeah, it's a web console. So again, we see the session open up here. We can do everything that you could do in Dameware. Take a screenshot, chat with the end user, do simple file transfer where you just drag and drop to the screen and it will put it in a folder for them. So let's say we actually went, where'd my mouse go there?
So just really quickly, so basically what we're doing here is we have, we've got this integration point built between Dameware and Web Help Desk. And what Ryan's doing here is he's actually identified a specific asset in our asset management list that may be problematic. And what he's doing is he's launching a Dameware remote session directly from that asset portion of Web Help Desk. And so what you can see here is that this is actually running in Web Help Desk integration.
Right. So let's say we need to chat with the end user. So let's pop up a little chat here. You'll see it on the end users, and you'll see it here as well. And I'll just type in some stuff, send it, and then they can respond back. And then let's say we've actually resolved their issue. We'll go ahead and close up the chat here. We'll go ahead and close up the session. And what it'll ask us is, do we want to save this to an existing ticket, ticket number 52, which is very descriptive, subject of issue with problem. We can choose to use the selected ticket, and this will take that metadata of who connected to who, how long the session was, the transcript from the chat session, and any screenshots that you took if you so choose to add them. So you can also create a new ticket. This would be if there was no ticket regarding this issue, or this is the first time they've ever contacted you on the issue, or it's a spin-off of another issue. Generally, with help desk tickets, it's best to keep them, homogeneous, where one issue per ticket.
Right.
So if you have somebody calling saying they need help setting up VPN, but also they have a problem with Outlook, you should have two tickets, one for the Outlook problem, one for the VPN problem. So when one issue gets solved, you can shut it down. You still have the other ticket. You can work it separately as so. So we'll just say use selected ticket. You'll see here is that metadata of who the technician was, from what client or to what client, the duration. In this case, we didn't spend very long, and who terminated the session. We only had chat. We didn't have any screenshots. You'll see the chat transcript here. No screenshots were available. We can take the check mark out. We can leave it in. We'll just go ahead and leave it in right here. We'll save the details of the ticket. What this will do is it'll connect to Web Help Desk, and it will be uploaded. So if we actually go and find that ticket, which I believe it was ticket 52.
So effectively, what this allows you to do is sort of create an audit trail, right? I mean, you not only are you tracking what's going on in the ticket, but you're also adding all of these notes related to your remote support session. So it tells you exactly, who connected, what time they connected, how they ended the session, and all of those kinds of things.
Right. Now, and again, there sometimes happens in a ticket. There's the customer said this, and you put that in the notes, but the customer may have actually said something else.
Right.
So getting in the chat session, and it's the customer's own words pulled across, and screenshots. Pictures are worth 1,000 words.
That's right.
You can pull a screenshot of the issue, the error message, what have you. So say Joe admin's sick on Tuesday, somebody else can pick up right where Joe left off, and the customer will see no impact to them directly.
So we've got a couple of questions about this remote support integration here. I just want to tackle these really quickly. So one is there any integration with remote desktop, or does it have to be Dameware? Actually, yes. You can launch a remote desktop session
or VNC.
Or a VNC session directly from the Web Help Desk console or from the Web Help Desk ticket. However, it does not save this metadata back. That is only something that happens with the Dameware integration. Similarly, we've got another question here that says if we don't have Dameware and we have some other solution, can we customize a remote connection link to a different local app?
Depends on the local app. We can't just blatantly say yes, because it depends on the API of the other app. If you can make a call to it, you should be able to.
Keep in mind, however, that it's not, similarly to, similar to the RDP and the VNC session, it's not going to save all that metadata and chat and information about the remote session back to the remote support to the Web Help Desk ticket. It's just simply going to allow you to plant a shortcut in the Web Help Desk ticket and launch that application.
Simply the convenience of being able to directly launch it without having to go and type in the IP address, go and type in, all the other things. Now, it depends on the tool. You may still have to type in the username and password. With Dameware, once you've already saved it, you don't have to do that again.
That's right.
I've seen another one here that asks if it pulls warranty and service tag. If it's doing the WMI scan and that information is provided to WMI, yes. So I know, for example, when we go to assets here, you'll see, I'll have to hit search. You'll see when it comes up here that you'll see these bunch of Dells here and with their serial number. These serial numbers were not manually put in. These were actually pulled in from the scan. So some vendors do, some vendors don't. Warranty information, generally, you can batch process. So if you have a bunch of assets that have that you bought all at the same time, and they all have a 1-year warranty, you can kind of batch process that as change all their warranties to this date. Some vendors do put warranty in there. I know Dell is not one of them by default. HP, I believe, does. But again, it really depends on the type of purchase with HP. If it's a large purchase, they'll actually embed it. If it's a single one-off, you're probably not going to get it.
That's right.
But you can add it to there. We do have reports for when warranties are coming due. So when the warranty is about to run out, you'll be notified if you run that report.
Well, let's move on to ticket automation and ticket linking, and then we'll get into the parent-child ticket relationships, which is a brand new feature from Web Help Desk that just came out a handful of days ago. So let's look at some ticket automation.
So the easiest way to describe this, I think, is when you have a new hire, right? New guy comes on. There's a lot of departments that have to touch to make this happen. So HR needs to create them a badge and set up payroll. Facilities need to get them a desk and maybe a phone. IT may have to set up that phone. IT may have to get their computer set up and all that. So you could individually create all these cases and have them assigned individually out, or with Web Help Desk, you can actually create kind of what I like to refer to as like a ticket bomb. When a certain type of ticket comes in, it then automatically generates and links back to the original ticket, the sub-ticket. The child tickets in this case. So what you would do is you can go to tickets and create a task. So create a new task. Call this new hire. And we'll go ahead and have this shared. It needs to be shared because it needs to be able to be accessed by the software for itself. We're not going to assign this one to a client by default, and we'll just go ahead and save it. Okay, so that's been created successfully. So let's go ahead and add some elements. So what we can do is, this is just the order in which it's going to be created. You can link it back to the parent. Now, once you click link back to parent, we'll see this little column that pops off here to the right side. What you can do is have it inherit the value. So if I put, new hire Glenn Gray for the subject, and I want that to be on all, of the sub-tickets, I can just say inherit from. So if I wanted this one to be, needs phone, it would be Glenn Gray new hire, needs phone, automatically done there. We can put information here. We can automatically have this one assigned to the node because he's the one who sets up phones. We can say this is urgent priority, and then we can go ahead and save. And we want this to happen on creation. So for the ticket is created that meets this criteria, or that meets a certain criteria, this will be spawned, and we'll go ahead and save that. Oh, we have to put a request type in there. I guess that would help. So phone, voicemail, and you're an awesome. Oh, we didn't do a new request. Gotta put a request. Needs phone. Okay. Okay, so then we can create another one.
And maybe needs badge.
Yeah, so we'll do the location is Austin. We don't care about the room. But this will be an HR. HR. I'm just going to put. But let's go ahead and link it to a parent. And we'll inherit that. Give him a badge. And we'll assign this to Joe Admin. And we'll go ahead and save it. So we'll see that right now, this is just a task to create 2 tickets. Now, we need something to kick off that task. So we can go to Processes and create an action rule. And we'll create a new action rule. And we'll give this rule name New Hire. Description we don't need. So the criteria. Let's see, when the request type, which is somewhere here, request type, is equal to, and what normally you would do is you create a new ticket type called new hire. What I'll just do for this one is we'll call it user administration. So when all these criteria match, we will then we'll leave it assigned to Joe Admin. We'll go ahead and create another one as well because that'll leave that parent ticket assigned to Joe Admin. We'll then have it run a task of new hire. Now, the reason you see this little flashing thing here, exclamation point, is if you click on it, it's going to tell you, make sure that it's shared. Because again, to be able to have it automated, it has to be a shared rule. So then we click save. So now if we were actually to switch the way this is to be a client. Client goes, sets up user administration. Gray, new hire, location, Austin. We'll go ahead and throw an asset on there, why not? And we'll save it. What this will then do is, upon the creation of this ticket, it will assign this ticket to Joe Admin, create 2 new sub-tickets, assign them to one to Vinod for the phone, and then one to Joe Admin for HR, and then tie them back to this main ticket, which will stay open as well. So let's go and switch back over. You'll see Lynn Gray needs a badge, give him a badge. Lynn Gray, new hire. So these are the 2 that we can see assigned to us because the other one's assigned to Vinod. And if we click on them, you'll actually see the parent ticket here. Now, if we make a note in this child ticket, that will propagate up to the parent ticket as well. So you can see notes. So let's say Vinod goes ahead and sets up that phone, puts a note in the ticket, phone's been set up. Joe Admin goes to the main parent ticket, he'll be able to see that note pushed up. Now, let's say you want to do the same thing, except for you want to just link tickets ad hoc, right? You're on the fly, you think 2 issues may be related. So you want to kind of tie them together, because if you solve one issue, you want to be able to go back to that other one and go, okay, this may be the same thing, let's try out this solution. So we'll go to this ticket 69 here, and you'll see a request tab off to the side. You can actually put criteria in here. Right now I'm just going to search, and let's say this is related to this printer not working. I can go ahead and link it here, and so now that's been linked to that other ticket as a parent ticket. So the same thing happens. You know, if I push up to, I mean, we can see the existing parent ticket here. I can go to that parent ticket. If there's been a resolution to the parent ticket, you can push that information down to the child ticket, and vice versa.
So this is great. So this is the new feature that we were talking about, this parent-child ticket association, and as you can see, it's a really useful thing, especially given the scenario that Ryan pointed out earlier, where you've got a new hire, you've got a lot of tasks associated with bringing a new hire on that goes across several different departments. Mm-hmm. So Web Help Desk is a product that can be used for requests across departments. Mm-hmm. So for instance, here internally at at SolarWinds, we use it for facilities requests, we use it for HR, for legal, and so on and so forth. And when you've got a situation where you've got some sort of request that requires multiple tasks that go across departments, this is a really great way to automate that and handle it really easily. I
mean, it again goes to breaking down a ticket by what its actual issue is. Mm-hmm. Not having 10 different things that need to be done on one ticket. Have those broken into separate tickets that push up to a parent.
You can imagine other scenarios where this would be useful too. So like say, for example, some sort of server migration or something along those lines that requires
a lot of steps.
Exactly. It's like, step 1 has been checked off, step 2, and effectively what this does is it gives you some really robust project management capabilities. And allows you to kind of like step by step make sure that you're doing things in the correct order and getting things done properly. And I love the ad hoc piece as well. That's really great. You get a lot of service requests that are similar.
The ad hoc piece, sometimes you use it before you realize something that is a problem incident relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it comes in as a service request. You're treating it like a service request. Then you realize, well, the reason this person's not being able to get their email is there's a problem with the email server, and other people are now coming in with the same thing. You can then create a parent ticket. You can switch it over from service requests here to an incident. Incidents would be the individual cases that are coming in, and then the problem being the main problem of whatever's going on with Exchange. So I mean, again, there's 3 or 4 really good scenarios. When it's cross departmental, when it's multi-step, when it's ad hoc, or when it's you're not quite sure if it's a problem incident.
Exactly.
Looks like we have a few more questions here. Are end users entering all of this? No. So again, some of it can be automated and pulled straight across. With the populate from the parent ticket that I showed you before. Let's see, this webinar. Will this webinar be available on demand later from your website to refer back to? No, this one's not being recorded.
Did not record this, yeah. But we'll take any questions you have. We'll leave you with. We're going to be sending a follow-up email to all registrants and attendees. Yeah. And you'll have Ryan's email address, and if you've got any specific questions, we're happy to answer those for you. Or if you would like a live personal demo with one of our engineers, we're happy to set one of those up with you as well.
Yeah, and also the parent-child we just did a video on, so that's available on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And also available on the Resource Center of Web Help Desk. And the integration portion, we had done a video, I think, last quarter.
That's right.
On it as well. So there's a good video that kind of walks through the actual feature itself, how it works, how to use it, things of that nature. Is there a way to change the ticket queue view so the related tickets are grouped together? You can change the ticket queue view. As far as grouping, not to my knowledge at this point. However, if you go to the actual parent ticket, you'll have all the child tickets there. So when you click on it, you'll be able to see the notes that are available from the other subcases, and vice versa. If you're on the child case, you can see other linked tickets there as well.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're running low on time here. In fact, I think we've gone over on time a little bit.
There's a question, what version is parent-child ticketing available? It is 12.3, which is the current newest version.
I think it just came out about 5 or 6 days ago.
Yeah, last week.
All right. So as I said, unfortunately we're running a little long on time here, so we'll wrap things up. And
there's one other question here. A task walkthrough would be nice for later reference. Christopher, that is covered in the video. So if you do view the video on YouTube, it will walk you through setting up that task creation.
Absolutely.
So again, you get your asset management discovery, you get ticket creation, you get ticket automation, you can link your tickets, and one thing we didn't talk about, you can actually do end-user surveys. So after a ticket is closed, or after every 5th ticket is closed, or however it's really customizable, however you want it, it'll send an end-user survey to the end user. They can tell you how how they think you're doing, and then you can actually report on this and graph it out and have that information. And remote support integration, which we demonstrated with Dameware as well.
Really quickly, we got a question here from Jennifer. It says, when will you have another presentation? I think we've got one scheduled for June 11th.
Yes.
But Jennifer, if you want a personal demo of the product, we're happy to link you up with one of our sales engineers and let you talk with them. They can walk you through each little nook and cranny of the product.
Yeah. So again, not going to rehash all this. This is basically what we just rehashed in the previous slide. But yeah, I mean, it's a robust solution that will get you not only ticket management, but it gets you the integration with Web Help Desk, and it also gets you that parent-child ticket relationship. So a lot of automation, which comes in handy. Again, not having to set up. Again, I only did it with 2 tickets. Imagine doing it with 20.
Right.
So you don't have to every time that new hire happens to create 20 tickets. It just happens for you. So that's one of the things that definitely is beneficial.
All right. So if you want to learn more about SolarWinds Web Help Desk, obviously you can go to our website, www.webhelpdesk.com. There is an online demo environment that is live. You can actually go in and create tickets and assign tasks and things of that nature. So feel free to do that. You can also download the product and try it out yourself. It's fully functional for 30 days. It's really easy to install. We actually even have a VMware appliance option to allow you to just drop it into VMware and hit go, and the thing is pretty much installed and set up and ready to go.
It runs on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS.
That's right. Right. Or if you'd like to speak with someone about a personal live demonstration, or if you've got some questions about pricing or licensing, we're happy to link you up with either one of our sales reps or a sales engineer if you actually want one of the live demonstrations. So you can reach us at sales@webhelpdesk.com or at the phone number we've got listed here. And then again, Ryan will be sending a follow-up email out to you, and if you want to speak directly with him, just shoot him an email and we'll get back with you. All right. So we want to thank everybody for attending today, and we've had some great questions. And I think now it is time to randomly choose somebody that's been on the whole time to receive a $100 American Express gift card. So give me 1 second here. I'm looking through the list. Let's see what we've got here. What? All right, I'm going to blindfold myself here and just point at the list. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Okay. Christopher Good. And like your last name implies, good for you. You just won a $100 American Express card. So congratulations on that. And it looks like we got a couple of other questions here. let's see, when we have another presentation.
People putting in their Thwack usernames, that's good. If you haven't put in your Thwack username and you want to be entered into the drawing for the Roomba or other prizes, go ahead and throw them in now. And Christopher Good says, awesome.
Congratulations, Christopher. And congratulations, preemptively here for whoever ends up winning the Roomba. So make sure that if you've got a Thwack username, throw it up there.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and leave this up for another 5 minutes or so people can throw in their usernames. And
also, really quickly, for those of you who are not participants in the Thwack mission, Thwack is the name is maybe a little difficult to understand. It's THWACK. If you'll look for that, just do a Google search for Thwack. You'll see that we have this online community with hundreds of thousands of people that are registered users. It's very active. Yes, a lot of people there are actually SolarWinds product owners and users. But believe it or not, the vast majority are not. It's just a great forum for people to get on and talk and have interactions with our product managers, with our developers, with our customer support staff, and make feature requests for the products that you may own or products that you're thinking about buying.
Or just talk anything IT, really. I mean,
absolutely.
It's an open forum.
Yeah.
And we frequently have these Thwack missions and Thwack contests where we give things away. Like, I mean, they've given away scooters, Xbox Ones, curved TVs,
right? All kinds of great stuff.
All sorts of stuff, and free to enter and free to sign up on Thwack. So I highly recommend going to thwack.com and signing up today.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. We're just going to leave this up here on the board. So, Aaron, really quickly, where do we put our username?
Same place you put the question.
Yeah, just type it in right there, and then we will download this information. So we're just going to leave this up for a few more minutes, and remember to put your Thwack username up there, and we'll close this down in a few minutes. But we just want to thank everybody for showing up again today. As I said earlier, Ryan will be sending out a follow-up email. If you've got any questions, just let us know.
Yep. We're just going to go ahead and mute the phone here. You will no longer hear our sultry voices.
Thanks, everyone.